of this organization from the local club level and all the way to the International Board of Directors. In 1990-1991, he was the district governor of District 52. He and his team led the district to distinguished status. It was the first of 4 years the district was distinguished. He served as an international director from 1995 to 1997 and served on the executive committee of Toastmasters International from 1998 through 2003. In 2001 to 2002, he led all Toastmasters around the world as the international president of Toastmasters International. That is really a big feat. Professionally, Alfred is an information technology director, currently working for Lab Roots, which is an online social networking website like LinkedIn, only for scientists. This evening, he will talk with us about how we can achieve President's Distinguished District. The title of his speech is, "We Can Do It." Please join me in welcoming past International Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Alfred Herzing.
I am here tonight to help you to be successful. And in Toastmasters, there's one word we use to measure success. And what is that word?
Luck.
Distinguished. Distinguished. That's right. That's right. And tonight, we all know already, our goal is not just to be distinguished, but to be a President's Distinguished District, right? All right. So tonight, I'm going to give very hands-on tools for you to help you achieve that. And I'd like this to be interactive. If you have questions along the way, if I say something you don't agree with, feel free to challenge me. It's okay. We don't have to agree on everything, but at least I'll be able to clarify and explain my position, okay? Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Why President's Distinguished?
Why not?
Okay, why not? But I mean, why? Why President's Distinguished?
It's the top.
It's the top.
We want to do the best we can do.
We want to be the best. We want to aim for the top, right?
Yes.
That's right. We always want to aim for the top. A few years ago, I was renting an ATV up in Pismo Beach in the sand dunes. And you have to sign away your life. And as I'm doing all the disclaimers, I'm going through this. The gentleman that was renting me the ATV, the all-terrain vehicle, a little four-wheeler, he gave me some strange advice. He said, "Don't ride too close to the barbed wire." Now that sounds like common sense, right? He said, "Let me explain. Every year we have people that think they're far enough away from the barbed wire, but they're going fast enough, they hit a rut, and they get thrown into the barbed wire. It happens every year." And this relates to this situation is by aiming for presidents, we have a little bit of buffer because we definitely want to be distinguished, right? Anything below distinguished means we were not a success. Now that doesn't mean the whole year was a failure. It doesn't mean that nothing got accomplished. But if you know the Toastmasters organization, who's at the top? The member. The member's at the top of the organization, right? Without members, we have no organization, right? Have you ever been to a club meeting with nobody there?
Yeah.
It's not fun. So members are at the top of the organization. Who's there to support the members? The club officers. They're there to support the club members. And what every VP education should be doing, if they haven't already done it by now, they definitely need to be doing it immediately because our Toastmaster year starts when?
July 1st.
July 1st and runs until June 30th. Okay, so we're already a quarter into the year. If they haven't already done it now, they must do it now. Say, what is your goal in Toastmasters? And when would you like to achieve it? Many people join because they want to improve their communication skills, right?
Right.
Well, how do you measure improvement? It's hard. But what we can do is set a concrete goal. Why don't you earn your competent communicator? You will have accomplished the first book, and then you get to go into the fun manuals, as I call them, the advanced manuals. Whenever we're talking to our members, I think it's always important that we share the breadth of our program so they don't think that competent communicator is the end goal. It's not. It's the first step. Now, I know a lot of facts and figures. I'm going to share that with you tonight. And it's interesting to know that most members quit after giving 6 speeches, being in the organization 18 months. The average member quits after giving 6 speeches. Why? Why do you think they quit? Pardon?
Things, life gets in the way.
Not necessarily. They originally joined to improve their communication skills, right? They had this fear of public speaking, and by speech 6, things are starting to come together. So they're going, all right, got it, thanks Toastmasters, and off they go. It's important that we get them to at least complete that first manual, because then they've got a complete first piece of work. Now, those of us in this room know that there's so much more beyond that, that it's really in their best benefit if they would continue and go into the advanced manuals. But if every single member were to at least accomplish competent communicator, I would be happy. And the funny thing is, they're more than halfway there. And so we have to get them focused on that goal. So the first goal should be competent communicator. And then people ask, well, how quickly should I earn it? And I always tell members, this is a self-paced program. You go at your own pace. I personally recommend a pace of a speech a month. Because if you go 3 or 4 months between speaking, it's like starting over again, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay? Now I've had people, especially in Asia, where they're very competitive. I remember when I did a presidential visit over there. I had a lady come up to me very proud, and she said, I got my competent communicator, it was a CTM back then, but I got my competent communicator in 6 weeks. Very proud of that fact, that she did it so quickly. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not a quality, competent communicator. And that's why I recommend a pace of at least 1 a month, because if with that pace, there's enough time to absorb the evaluation, to take what you can from that, and prepare for the next speech, incorporate those lessons, and prepare and give the next speech. If you're giving 10 speeches within 6 weeks, you're not really having time to do that, right?
Right.
Again, that's just my opinion. Maybe it worked for her, maybe she was already a professional speaker, but I don't think so. So it's not about that. So what I want for our club VPEs to do is to be saying, when would you like to earn your competent communicator? For some members, they might say, I'd like to do it in 1.5 years. But for most people, I think 1 year is a realistic goal. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
1 year is a realistic goal, okay? And so, I don't know if your club's like mine, but we can't schedule our members frequently enough to have them speak once a month. So how do you get around that?
More clubs?
More clubs? Well, you can actually do it in your own club. Now, I'm sure this doesn't happen anymore in District 52, but it happens in my clubs now, and it used to happen in my club when I was a member of District 52. We sometimes have last-minute cancellations. Yeah. I'm sure that doesn't happen anymore here, right? So what I tell our members to do is come prepared with your manual and your speech. And if there is a last-minute cancellation, you're there with the manual, you're prepared, you can step in and take that speaking spot. And why is that a benefit? Why is it a benefit to have a member there prepared to take that spot?
Well, he has an opportunity to become proficient in the speaking.
He has an opportunity to move further in the program,
Yes.
right? This is a program where we learn by doing. The other thing is the audience has another speech to listen to. And there's another evaluator that gets to evaluate. My personal experience in Toastmasters is I have enjoyed every single speech I've ever heard in Toastmasters. I've either learned something or I've been entertained. And I'll be honest, sometimes the things I've learned are learned what not to do. But it's still a learning experience, okay? So our VPEs right now need to be setting their goals as far as what their members would like to achieve, okay? So, and what should the club presidents be doing right now? This is all background right now, but we're laying a foundation. What should club presidents have already done with their executive committee?
Energize them.
Energize them specifically to goals.
Officer meetings?
No, specific to goals. Scott.
Prepare for the officer area governor visits by looking at the DCPs, your club goals.
It doesn't matter about the area governor. The area governor is there to support
No, but
who?
he's preparing his officers so they understand what their goals are, so when the area governor comes,
Okay.
He's already. it's
All right,
not-
but don't do it for the area governor, just for those of you watching on video. Okay. Scott said that it's to have the club prepare for the area governor's visit by going through the Distinguished Club program so they understand their goals. And I'm saying don't do it for the area governor, but that's exactly the right answer. Our president should be sitting down with their committee and saying, okay, let's go through the 10 goals. The first goal is what?
CC.
How many? 2. So you say as a team, okay, 2 CCs in the next year. Do we think we can do that as a club? Yeah, I think we can do that. Okay, we'll check that one. Next one, 2 more CCs. Do we think we can do that? Check. And you go down through the list, and hopefully you could say you're going for not 10 out of 10, right? Unless it's a brand new club, every club should be going for President's Distinguished. Why? Because you don't want to get thrown into the barbed wire. When I became international president, one of the first tough decisions I had to make was I took office in August, and we had an area governor who was president of the club the previous year. This club had been a Phoenix club. It had risen from the ashes, and they had qualified for distinguished status, except she didn't get credit for her Competent Leader Award. Now, back then it was the old Competent Leader, which is now the Advanced Leader, which requires you to be a club officer and attend district-sponsored officer training. When she filled out the paperwork, there's a spot that says, date you attended district-sponsored training. She left it blank. So what did World Headquarters think when they got the paperwork? She didn't do it, right? And this is another inside tip for you. I'm going to give you all these tips tonight. There's 12 months of the year. You might not be surprised to learn this, but over 25% of the educational awards happen in June. And so World Headquarters gets backlogged in verifying all the information. And so by the time they were able to look at this application, see that it wasn't properly filled out, kicked it back to the individual and said, you didn't do this. She was able to then supply the support documentation. Yes, I did. Here are the district officers are vouching that they did it. They said, that's fine. We're going to give you credit. But now when are we giving her credit? The following year, right? Because it didn't get processed the previous year. Well, that was the goal that prevented her club from being a distinguished club. So she came to me as international president to ask me to make an exception and make her award retroactive. What did I say?
No.
I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's a matter of integrity. You have to fill out the paperwork properly. And if you had extra goals in there so you weren't relying on that one thing, then you still would have been a distinguished club. So she was riding too close to the
Barbed wire.
wire. Okay? So by having your clubs go through that goal, now this is really key. And the reason I'm going through all of this is I want you to do the same with your clubs as area and division governors. Okay? I want you to use the same mindset. You now know what the goal is. The goal for the club is
Distinguished.
President's Distinguished Club, right? And who decided that? The executive committee, right? The executive committee of the club. The goal for the district is President's Distinguished District. Who decided that? Who? You did. You did. This is the group, right? So you own that goal, right? Okay, so now what the president does is he goes before the club and he says, we've set a goal to be a President's Distinguished Club. We're excited about that because that's the best. We think this club is the best, and we're going to show it to the rest of the world. So I'm interested to know who amongst our members is interested in earning their competent communicator between now and June 30th of next year. And they get all the names of the volunteers that are interested. Okay? What you've done now is you've got that goal from the member. The member said, I want to achieve this competent communicator by June 30th. What does the VP Education do with that information?
Writes it down.
They write it down, but what more do they do with that?
Schedule the speakers.
They schedule them so they can achieve their goal, right? Who's in charge of the schedule in the club? The Vice President of Education. And so the Vice President of Education, knowing that Toastmaster Ted and Toastmaster Sue both want to have their competent communicator by the end of June, the VPE is going to make sure they have enough speaking opportunities to do that. And if there aren't enough, they're going to tell them, come prepared with a backup speech in case one of our regular speakers canceled, and we'll put you in top priority. Why do they get top priority?
Because they
They
see
keep
that
their goal.
and
They need to fill the space. Speakers.
No, but there could be 3 people that said, I'm prepared to give a speech. Why are Sue and Ted going to get priority?
Because they had the goals.
Because they committed to a goal. And the club is helping them to achieve their goal. Okay? And what you've done now is you've changed the relationship. Now it's the club helping the members achieve their goal. And it's not us going back, okay, come on, somebody here, we need a CC by the end of the month. What are we going to do? You know? And how many times do we hear that at the district level? We need 100 more members by the end of June. What are we going to do? You know? It's about the members achieving their goals and the club helping them achieve their goals. Once the area governors go to their clubs, they should find out, what is your goal as a club? It should be president or select. And I'll tell you a story. When I was district governor, you heard in my introduction, just so you know, the district hadn't been distinguished the 3 years of when I was coming up through the ranks. Thankfully, we made the marketing goal the year I was the marketing lieutenant governor. We did make our education goals the year I was the education governor, but we hadn't put all the pieces together. And so when I went in as district governor, nobody knew what it was like to be a member of a distinguished district. Do you guys know what it's like to be a member of a distinguished district? You've been distinguished, right? You know? It's in recent history. You guys know what it's like, okay? And so you have that. We didn't. My goal was to be President's Distinguished District. Full power, let's go! Woo, woo, woo! And the district looked at me and they said, Alfred, what have you been smoking? They didn't buy into it. So I agreed to lower it for Select Distinguished, okay? And while I'm on this, I might as well tell you the whole story of what happened there. We set a goal to be a Select Distinguished District. And we worked for the year. We had the right focus, and I'm going to talk about that tonight. And we got to the end of March, 3 months to go. Back then, there were 70 districts in the world. We were 67th out of 70, third from the bottom. And already people were starting to say, well, there's always next year, and at least we're leaving the district better than we found it. And I was very upfront with my team. I said, if we, with this talent, are not distinguished or better, we will not be able to say we were a success. I will not accept it. We refocused our efforts. We were not only able to make a distinguished, but we actually #2 in the region. So we did a great job. And I'm more proud of the fact, as was stated in my introduction, it was the first of 4 years in a row that the district was distinguished, which meant we built a foundation. It wasn't built on paper clubs. And just so you know, our governor will face some difficult decisions. You'll have a club, and it's like, it's a weak club. Do we cut it loose, or do we try and rebuild it? And my personal rule was always 3 members. If you have 3 people there that want to rebuild the club, I'll work with them. But if we don't have 3 people, forget it. Let's cut our loss. And there was a club that was questionable. And thank God, it did rebuild and it was okay. But it could have gone the other way just as well. But we did it. We were successful. But we worked all the way to the end with that focus and that effort. But again, the key is to understand what your goal is, get the input from the team, and now it's about us helping them achieve their goals. Do you understand that? Okay, great. For the district to be distinguished, there are 4 critical success factors. Do you know what the 4 critical success factors are? This is very nuts and bolts tonight. There are 4 that you must meet, along with some administrative ones like submitting a budget and a plan and all that. But this is the big stuff. Competent communicator is one of them. Okay? What's another one? I heard it over here.
Membership.
Membership, right? What's another one? Clubs. And what's the 4th one? It's an educational word, but which one? Advanced communicator. Okay? Now, this is the last year of the current program, but I still think that those are the right critical success factors. I'm a businessman, so let me put this in business terms. Let's first of all talk about clubs. Clubs are like our outlets, right? Like McDonald's, they have all their stores all across the world. Clubs are our stores. That's where the program is delivered. wouldn't it make sense that we'd want to continue to build new clubs? Wouldn't it make sense? Absolutely. And what's our goal as far as percentage of club growth? 2% club growth. All right? You sure it's not 3%?
96 is the
I thought it's-
98 is a goal.
It's 3% club growth.
actually 3?
It's 3%. What's the membership growth?
3%.
No? It's 2%.
Ah, so that's
2%. All right? And those are the ones that we always struggle with. Now, conceptually, you'd say, wait a minute, with a 3% club growth and only a 2% membership growth, if you're making your club goal, you should naturally make your membership growth, right?
Yeah.
But here's the reality. We're losing members out of clubs faster than we're building new ones. And we'll talk more about that. But again, the clubs are our outlets. Members are our customers, right? And wouldn't it make sense that you want to have more customers in your business that you're serving, right? And then the education awards, we can group them together for the purpose of this discussion. If you think about it, what's our purpose in Toastmasters?
Education.
Education, right? We want to help our members improve their communication leadership skills. So doesn't it make sense that we would track the number of education awards we give out?
Sure.
I'll bet you the universities do, don't they? That is definitely a critical success factor. So if you think about it, to me that makes sense. But now let's talk about this at a deeper level. I'm going to ask you a trick question. And I'm telling you up front it's a trick question. And if you've heard this presentation before, don't answer the question. All right? Thinking back to last year, in rough numbers, how many competent communicators did District 52 earn? Rough number.
120.
225.
225?
120.
120?
153.
153? Wrong. What's the answer?
I say 0.
0.
What?
The answer is 0. How many competent communicators did District 52 earn last year? None. Who earned competent communicators last year? Members in clubs. All right? I mean, yes, the district tracked it, and yes, they had a goal, and yes, we had to achieve it, but how much influence did the district have on members achieving that award? Very little. Very little. Think about it. I mean, again, challenge me if you disagree. Members give speeches where? Clubs. They get scheduled in clubs. They give their speeches in clubs. They get evaluated in their clubs. If they get frustrated and upset, they leave their... What can the district do about that?
We do not know that district exists.
Not a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of my big frustrations talking about that membership aspect, is I can't tell you in Founders District, we had 3 or 4 governors in a row that said, my number one focus is membership retention. Were they distinguished district governors? No, why not?
They can't retain the members.
The district can't retain members.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
Members have to decide they want it.
Exactly. And so it's a matter of knowing your job. How many members joined District 52 last year?
None.
None. Where did they join?
Clubs.
They joined clubs in District 52. How much influence did the district have on those members or guests joining those clubs? Little. You know, I don't want to give you no credit. You know, maybe you had a website, maybe there was some publicity that you did, you know, possibly there was some influencer there, but at the end of the day, some whatever means, probably the TI website or another member's word of mouth. That's why I always encourage our members to wear their Toastmaster pin the day of a club meeting. Why?
It
We'll
brings
ask what
interest.
that stands for.
Yeah. They'll ask, what's that pin? You go, it's my Toastmasters pin. We're having a meeting tonight. Please come as my guest. Boom, it's a great conversation starter. But the district and international have very little to do. Well, international, again, with the website, they do help. What causes a guest to join Toastmasters?
Personal.
The club members.
The club.
Interest.
It's the club, right? They come to a meeting, they're greeted and felt warmly accepted and welcomed. They see a quality program, and they're asked to join. That is a key, right? They are asked to join. Okay? What did the district do there? Very little, okay? So if you think about the critical success factors, ladies and gentlemen, we've got competent communicators. Those are being done in the club. We have members joining the clubs. And then we have the Advanced Communicator Awards also doing. So that's 3 of the 4 critical success factors. That leaves 1 critical success factor for the district that you do directly control. And what is that one?
Clubs.
New clubs.
New clubs. Okay? With the weak clubs, we want to help save clubs that are weak, but whose primary responsibility is it to save a weak club?
The members.
That club, the members of that club, right? And you heard me say earlier that my personal rule is 3 members. If there are 3 members in that club that have an interest, a desire to save that club, I'll go in there and I'll help them as a district. I don't mean necessarily myself personally, although that's been done before too. If there aren't that, for me, it's not worth the effort. Because what if, let's say you're an area governor, and you're trying to rebuild this weak club, and you're having guest speakers come, and you're having all these people come and attend to build up the numbers. As soon as you pull out that support, what happens? It's right back to where it was, right? Now, a club coach can work with the club and rebuild it and do the right things and rebuild it properly, and that is a valiant, good effort that should be addressed. Okay? So we can save clubs that way. But our number 1 focus needs to be building new clubs. Now, your governor said she wants to be a President's Distinguished District. You all said you want to be a President's Distinguished District. I am going to give you the secret on how you can make it happen, because you can do it. We can do it. What is the secret? 1 new club per area. Now, is that the first time you're hearing that thought or idea? Hopefully not. Good. 1 new club per area. And ladies and gentlemen, you must be serious about this. If you want to be a President's Distinguished District, you are going to have to do your job, which is what?
1 new club per area.
Build clubs. 1 new club per area. We have 21 areas in the district, so how many new clubs? 21 new clubs. Now, if you really want to make it sharp, you're going to do net 1 club per area. Now, we're not asking for that, but if you really want to turn it up a notch, you would do net 1 club. What does net 1 club mean? It's a tennis club or what?
You build a club for, 1 extra club for every club you lose.
Right. If you lose a club, now instead of building 1, you're building 2. And that's why I don't like these governors that complain about accepting paper clubs or whatever from the previous administration, and that's why they weren't successful. You need to do an assessment of where you are at the beginning of your term and say, okay, the international goal is 10, we're not going to have to build 30 clubs. But we can do it. If you have that goal and you know what you're going to do, you're going to approach it differently. Are any of you into exercise or fitness at all?
Yeah.
Okay, a few of you. What's a good example of fitness things you do?
Bicycle.
A bicycle, riding a bicycle, okay?
Running.
Running, okay. When you're doing those types of activities, are there different distances you do? Okay. Have you ever found, let's do the cycling example, but if you're a runner, I do push-ups, so sometimes I do that example too. If you go to ride 20 miles on a bicycle, what happens at mile 5? You blow right through it, right? Because your goal is 20, right? What happens on the days that you're doing 5-mile bike ride? You get to mile 4.5 and you're like, oh man, I can't wait for this to finish, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing. When we have the bigger goal, we blow through the earlier goal. Toastmasters International has given you a goal of what? 3 new clubs? Yeah. 2.
2 actually.
I spit on that goal, you know? Because we're talking about building 21 new clubs. And can you see, ladies and gentlemen, how building 21 new clubs is a totally different focus than building 2? Building 2 is like, well, that could happen by accident, you know? We don't have to worry about that. But the problem even there is it's net 2, right? So every club that you lose, you have to build one. But people don't think about that. Then it's a big surprise. Oh my gosh! What happened what's going to happen next month when dues are due? There's something that happened that the board decided in February that we found out as a surprise last month. Dues increase. All right? You think that's going to impact membership?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It will. I mean, it's just a fact of life. We're in a recession. Costs are going up. People are going to make tough decisions. Sometimes it's going to be dual members. People that are in multiple clubs may decide, you know, 10 clubs is a bit much. I think I'm going to scale it back a little. But there are other people that are just struggling to attend their regular club, and they just may say, financially, I just can't do it, and they're going to pull back. And so what can the district do about that? Not a whole lot. But what can we do? We can go out and build new clubs. Now, area governors, I want you to understand, when I say I want you to build a club, I don't mean that you personally go out and charter that club, but I want you to own that goal. Which means tonight, when you give your reports, I don't want to hear about your speech contest as your #1 item. I want to hear about what you're doing to build a new club. And Carolyn's going to be distributing a spreadsheet I created. It's called Steps to Charter a Club. And I forget the exact number there, but it just takes all the mystery out. Well, what's it take to charter a club? It takes all the mystery just step by step. We're asking you as area governors to be responsible for 3 of the steps. #1, we want you to find the opportunity for a new club. Why are the area governors the right person to find an opportunity?
They're directly involved there.
They're what?
They're directly in that area. And
They're in the area. All right? You're driving around the area. You see the big buildings. You see, oh, there's an office building we don't have a club in. Or you can take a map and put pins in all the locations. And geographically, it'll become real apparent. Unless it's the peak of Griffith Park or something. Oh, okay, now I understand why there's no club there, although. Don't just look at space diversity, also look at time diversity. For instance, we have Universal Studios right here. This is in the district, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any company clubs there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a morning club? Do we have a lunch club?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we have an evening club? Okay, so we have 1 out of 3. Here's the opportunity. And think about this. Don't you agree that there are people that don't want to get up early enough to attend a morning club? They're there to work for the day, but they're willing to stay an hour after work while traffic is subsiding to attend a Toastmasters meeting? Absolutely. And there's other people that would love getting to work early, beating the traffic, and they'd love to attend a Toastmasters meeting, get their mental vitamin for the day, get all energized, go into their work day, but they can't stick around after work because of childcare or whatever issues they have going on with their life. So having time diversity clubs in the same location does not exclude other people, because the people that are looking at those different time slots wouldn't be available for the other ones. So that's another way you can look at it. So we want you to come up with the club opportunity. And if you're not sure how to do that, talk to your district governor, your lieutenant governor of marketing, and we will work with you to do that. We can help you. I know a few years ago in this district there was this huge database of club opportunities that was created. I don't know if that's all been exhausted in the meantime, but there are opportunities out there. I now live in Founders District. A few years ago, when the current governor back then said, Alfred, Toastmasters was started here in Founders District. We're saturated. There's no more room for new clubs. And I told him, I said, well, Toastmasters believes that there's an opportunity for every 10,000 in population we could have a Toastmasters club. And interestingly enough, McDonald's has the same formula. So for every 10,000 population, there's a McDonald's. Think about all the McDonald's in Founders District, and do we have a club that goes along with each one? And all of a sudden his eyes lit, he goes, oh my gosh, we have so much opportunity. The opportunities are there, and so you can do that. So we want you to find the opportunity, first of all. Don't worry about how you're going to approach them. Again, the district will take care of that. If you'd like to be part of that, absolutely. We welcome you to be part of the demo team and be a part of the whole process, but it's not a requirement. The second thing we want you to do is identify a sponsor, and the third one is a mentor. What's a club sponsor do?
Helps them get it started.
They help get the club started. Exactly. Right on. The job of the club sponsor is to get the process started, and their work ends when the charter paperwork is submitted to World Headquarters. They walk away. Would you like some tips on how to start a club quickly and easily?
Yes.
All right. Now this, again, may not fall into your area, but I'm just sharing all this information and knowledge tonight, okay? I will not do a demonstration meeting for a group until I meet with the senior executive at the location, assuming it's a work, or in a community, somebody influential that will guarantee me 30 people at the demonstration meeting. Why do I want 30 people at the demonstration meeting?
You get 20 to sign up.
So get 20 to sign up, because we're chartering this club in one meeting, ladies and gentlemen. We're not coming back 3 or 4 times, because I've seen it happen. The first time you have a demo meeting, you have a dozen people there, and then 3 or 4, 5, 6 sign up. The next demo meeting, how many people show up? Yeah, 5 or 6, you know. And pretty soon you're doing a demo meeting for one new person. You know, it's like, come on, this is ridiculous. If you can't get 30 people to come to a demonstration meeting, you don't get a Toastmasters club. I'm sorry. Is Toastmasters special?
Yes.
Do we have something that the business world needs?
Yes.
How many business meetings have you been in? In fact, this is how I sell Toastmasters when I meet with executives. Have you ever been in a business meeting that didn't start or end on time? Oh yeah. Have you ever sat in a presentation where the speaker was fumbling through their material? Oh yeah. Toastmasters can help you with all of those. Sign me up. That's all you have to say to the executives, okay? They get it. They understand it, okay? So we want 30 people. If we can't get 30 people, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for Toastmasters. We'll take it to another organization. Now, if the company isn't big enough where they can guarantee 30 on their own, say that's okay, make it an open club. And we can get more people here. But you must promise me 30. Now, will they always have 30 at the demo meeting?
No.
No. And when I chartered my club at Beckman Coulter, where I was working when I was international president, I did this to me, okay? I said, Alfred, we're going to do a demo meeting. We're not doing it unless we have 30 people. Well, I didn't have 30 people at the demo meeting, but it was close. And we didn't have 20 that signed up that day, but I had enough other commitments that even before the second meeting, we had our 20. And so we did charter that club in one meeting. I was also on a business trip. How many people does it take to do a demo meeting? As few as 1, as many as 5, 6, or whatever. Who do you want in a demo meeting for a regular demo meeting?
You?
All right. Well, you want a Toastmaster. What else do you need?
Table topics and
Somebody to do table topics.
evaluator.
Speakers are not.
You need a speaker and evaluator, right? You don't need a general evaluator, you don't need a grammarian, you don't need a timer, although you do want to be timing the speakers. On the speaker that you have, do you bring the district champion from the international speech contest?
No.
No, because they'll be intimidated, right? You want somebody that's on speech 3 or 4 of the program, and what should they be talking about? Their progress and the skills they're learning in Toastmasters. When these guests, these prospective members, see somebody at that level, they're going to say, hey, I can identify with this person. I could see myself doing that. And one of the ways I sell to a new charter group is about the fact that when all of you start, you're all starting at the same time. And you're going to go through this growth process together. And I promise you, in 3 or 4 months, you're going to be so advanced that when new member or guests come to visit you, they're going to be so impressed by you, they're going to be intimidated. Is that the truth?
True.
It's true, right? That's another advantage of being a charter member of a club. Go ahead, Scott.
You could basically tell them that it's only like 1 in 1,000 that actually.
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for that club. Once that club is chartered and the paperwork is sent in, nobody ever again in the history of that club can be a charter member. I remember when I formed Yorba Linda Achievers, we have all our members stand up and introduce themselves, and I remember we would have our charter members because they were proud of the fact, hello, my name is Eli Ruiz and I'm a charter member, and they would sit down. Our new members learn by observing, right? And so we'd have new members that would join. Hi, I'm Ralph Davis, and I'm a charter member. And we'd have to say, no, you're not a charter member. We have to explain what that is. A funny thing happened to me a few years ago. I was invited to the 70th anniversary of Club Number 1, Smedley Club Number 1. And one of the members of my Yorba Linda Club said, "Oh, Alfred, are you a charter member of that club too?" Let me explain what a charter member is. All right. So again, you want to have a sponsor who's responsible for getting that club chartered. Then we have the mentor. And the reason we want area governors to pick out these people is you're visiting the clubs. You know who the leaders are in those clubs. You know the people that you say, you know, this individual, I think you'd be a great club sponsor. Would you be interested? Well, sure. What's that mean? And you can explain what it is. Or I think you'd be a great mentor. Would you be willing to do that? Well, what's that mean? And then you bring those names back to the district, and again, we'll work through them. So we're not asking you to personally charter these clubs, but we're expecting you to own the goal. So when you get this list of the steps to charter a club, I want you to track the progress. I want you to be asking the district leadership team, where are we in the step? When is that demonstration meeting happening? Come on, let's get going. I want you to hold them accountable to you. I want you to make sure it happens. The third one I'm asking you for is a mentor. What's a club mentor do?
Stays with them for 6 months and helps out, helps guide them.
Helps guide them what way?
To learn the procedures.
To learn the Toastmasters way of doing things, right? And sometimes there are nuances. I call them the fine points of Toastmasters. For instance, in table topics, according to Alfred, the proper way to do it is to ask the question and then pick somebody to answer the question. Why?
So let everybody think.
Because it forces everybody to think about the question. If I say, okay, Carolyn, this question's for you, what do we all do? I mean, it's human nature. It's like, okay, well, and halfway through her answer, you go, oh, I know what I would have said. You know, you always come up with the answer halfway through the other person's talk. But by stating the question first, it makes everybody think, oh, what if she asked me? What if he asked me? How am I going to answer that question? So that's the right way to do table topics, according to Alfred. A mentor is the one that helps do that. What are some of the basic laws of Toastmasters that we have that a mentor should be passing on to a club?
That all speeches have to be evaluated.
All speeches have to be first.
Evaluated.
No. What even before that? Manual speeches, right? Why? Why is that such a big deal?
So they're making, because there's criteria from Toastmasters on how to be more effective.
Right? But why does it need to be a manual speech? Couldn't somebody just stand up and give their keynote address that they're practicing for at work?
Club stats.
Because it adds to your
The
education.
club stats.
No, it's not about the numbers, okay? It's about personal growth.
Yeah.
We're in the program to learn. We learn by doing, but we learn by following the program, right? Has this manual just been something thrown together in the last 6 months?
Part of the program.
No, right?
No.
That manual is based on years and years of experience and fine-tuning, okay? In fact, when I first joined, I used to hear about it called the basic manual. Have you ever heard that term, the basic manual? A few years ago, I was at a club anniversary in District 1, and they had some of the old manuals, and there was a manual that said basic manual on it. I went, that's where the term came from. It was the basic manual, and that was literally what the manual was labeled. And, okay, that's where it comes from. Okay, so all speeches need to be manual speeches. Okay, a mentor would make sure that that happens. What else? You were going to say your point was all speeches need to be evaluated, right? And how should they be evaluated?
Validatingly.
Validatingly. Say that 10 times fast,
Yeah.
right? But tell me more. What should the tone of the evaluation be?
Oil.
Positive, right.
Constructive, that's we talk.
It can be the sandwich, but what must there be besides being encouraging? There must be at least 1 or 2 points for improvement, right? And this again, an Alfred fine-tune, is I'd like to see personalized language. In my opinion, I thought, I saw. I hate it when speakers say, your opening grabbed us. I'm thinking, speak for yourself. I was asleep, I hate it when evaluators do that, okay? And by the way, one of my sources of pride in District 52 is I am a district champion of the evaluation contest. Thank you. So So I know what I'm talking about, at least according to the judges that one year. Okay, so that's what a mentor does. They just help them get on. And you're supposed to be with the club for 6 months. Personally, whenever I've been a mentor, I always do it for a year. But that's not a requirement. Okay, so that's all we're asking from you as area governors. But once we have the lead, once we know who the sponsor and mentor is, the district team will take it from there. And we're going to find who the right person is to talk with at that meeting. And by the way, since I'm giving so many tips for our Lieutenant Governor of Marketing, here's what you say when you call to make that appointment. Hello, I'd like to talk to you about the benefits of having a Toastmasters Club in your organization. I'll say that again. I'd like to talk to you, we'd like to meet with you about the benefits of having a Toastmasters Club in your organization. Because everybody wants to know, what's in it for me? Why should we have a Toastmaster? I've heard of Toastmasters, but why should I have a club here? And then when we meet with them, how long are we going to meet with them? We're going to get 15 minutes. People are busy. Executives are very busy. If you ask for an hour, you will not get the appointment. Excuse me. Can you explain the benefits of Toastmasters in 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. And again, the district will provide the people to do this, so don't think that you as an area governor have to do this. But I'll give you a little inside secret. If you were to call up, you go, wow, you know, we're really lucky. The area governor's going to be in town, and it would be available to meet with you about the benefits of having a Toastmasters Club in your area, in your organization. They're going to go, wow, really? The area governor is going to be here? They don't know. They don't know. And so you already have that title. You already have that power. You don't know that. Now, most area governors, you may not be comfortable doing that, and that's okay. Again, we're not asking you to do that. But the district will do that. They'll meet. They'll make sure there's going to be 20 people. They'll organize the time. They'll help with the publicity. They'll do the demonstration meeting, and then make sure that the club meets. And by the way, just so you know, the comment was made that you only need one person to do a demonstration meeting. I did that on a business trip to India, ladies and gentlemen. I was working with 2 different companies there. I was on a business trip. We talked ahead of time about them having a Toastmasters Club in each of their organization. I told them we only have one shot at this, so I'm only going to do this if you can guarantee me 30 people at the meeting. They did. They had 30 plus at the meeting. And I had to do the demonstration all by myself. And it was hilarious because I'd say, all right, now I'm the Toastmaster. I'd say, well, we're going to have a great meeting today, and first we're going to do our table topics, and here's our table topics master, Alfred Herzing. And then I come up and hi, I'm table, and I explain table topics, and I say, and our first question is, why do you think Toastmasters would be a benefit to you? And I call Carolyn, and then I run over here and I go, okay, Carolyn, you would stand up, and you would say, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I think it would be great if I were Toastmaster because, and then you answer the question, thank you, and you sit down and we all applaud, and that's how I did the demonstration meeting. And the second group videotaped me like I'm being here, and I never had the chance, but I always wanted to go back and visit that club and see if they had people running all over the room trying to do Toastmasters. But it only takes one person. But this is such a great program, it really sells itself. And so if you focus on building new club, if you're serious about building one new club, again, my own personal experience in District 52, when I was an area governor District 52, when we came to the DEC meetings, everybody talked about the speech contests. And so I thought speech contests were our focus. And so when I had area council meetings, guess what we discussed? The speech contest. We planned our speech contest, and I'll tell you, we had a great speech contest. It's now LA Studios, but it was the Unical Center in downtown LA. That's where my home club was in my area, was downtown LA. We had great speech contests. It was fantastic. We made so much money, we were ready to subsidize the next one, and we even gave some money to the district, was having financial trouble at the time. It was wonderful. We stopped meeting till it was time to plan the next speech contest. And we met, we had an incredible another area speech contest. And so we were extremely successful, but guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The district was not distinguished because we as a district team were focusing on the wrong things. There are 4 critical success factors. Which one does the district control? New clubs. Can you do it? Will you do it?
Yes.
I think you can, and together we can do it.
We can
Madam
do it.
Governor,